And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for like probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to Hack City. I am Joe DeLeone. Joining me as always, my former teammate, former roommate from the University of Rhode Island, Mr. Sean Anderson. Today we're going to be talking about two massive landscape changes in the world of college football. We're going to be talking about the news surrounding Chip Kelly jumping to Ohio State, what that means for the potential possibility that other Power 5 sitting head coaches could take offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator gigs, as well as breaking down news, but unexpected, that the FCS and the Division I AAA, which I didn't even know was a thing, is making these behind closed doors moves to figure out how their version of football is going to look in the near future. Before we get to that, folks, Sean, can you read the Super Bowl ad read after the game has been played? Could you do that?
Yeah, I won a ton of money on Sunday, obviously. That's why I'm smiling and
all
telling
of the
you.
money.
Yeah. The Gatorade color was yellow. So just for anybody, I don't know. Regardless. Taping before the Super Bowl, got a lot of bets to place. Very excited for it. It's probably, it's the Hack's biggest gambling day of the year. All the non-gamblers come out and make their bets, and there's a lot of money moving around. It is exciting, though. As Hack and as true bettors, you're kind of like, ugh, when you see the amateurs come in and start winning money. It is repulsive, but it is fun. If you're doing any gambling, even after the Super Bowl, remember, Bet Online. That's your number one source. That's where you need to go. If you're betting on the championship, if you're betting on hockey, MLB, NBA, college basketball is heating up. I talked about college basketball with a dude at a party last night for 45 minutes instead of talking to women because I need some plays. Head to Bet Online and enjoy the day. Get in on the action. Bet Online. The game starts here.
Were you talking to Cam Rogers?
No.
I had a couple good. I should have texted them to you. I shared a room with him this weekend. He had a couple good one-liners. Not like a wow, that was really great comment by Cam. More okay. I have never heard somebody say that they're the king of Radio Row more than Cam Rogers said in a 3-day period. That was constantly repeated. What are you?
Oh, you shared a room with him?
Yeah, I didn't tell you this.
Give me the information, brother. This is breaking news.
He is a very low maintenance person to share a room with. It was fine.
What?
Yeah,
Did he snore?
No.
Did he blow up the bathroom?
No, I put my headphones on and I slept and didn't even notice.
How were your manners in the room as sharing a room? Because I know at times when I've shared rooms with you, you can be rather messy.
Only when the times I've shared rooms with you were times when you and I were getting after it. Like we were drunk messes. So obviously I'm going to make a freaking mess everywhere with pizza.
Is that an indictment on me then?
No, but I was in a work setting, so I was barely in the room. I had a little desk set up and we were, bouncing in and out of the room. So, it was what it was. I will say the only thing, and I doubt Cam listens to this because I do remember one time he listened and we said something negative about him and he brought it up in a meeting. He took it a little too personally.
Love Cam. I have to say I love Cam.
We say everything jokingly. We make fun of people that we interact with because we think that they won't mind because we're not trying to be mean-spirited. But he is the type of guy that like when you're laying in bed and you're trying to go to sleep and he just keeps talking and you're just like, hey man, it's past 11. Like, what are we doing here? Like I'm in bed. I got my headphones on. I'm listening I'm listening to videos and I'm about to go to sleep. Like, what are we really doing here? Those are the worst.
Do you think Rex Grossman made a lot of money in the NFL? I'm like, what? Why are you bringing this up now? Let's talk about
Who's
that
done
tomorrow.
that to you?
I did. You know me. I was the rotating cast member of roommates when we were traveling. I had a different one every time, basically. So dudes were some guys were silent, some guys would talk, some guys were locked in, some guys were trying to find a way to play Xbox. Like it's just everyone's a little bit weird with it before
Who brought
games.
an
And
Xbox on the road?
don't you worry about it. Is somebody that did not stay on the team very long. Regardless,
Not surprised.
I cannot believe you were breaking that Cam Rogers news that you guys stayed in the room together.
I mean, I don't know what. I mean, I
Did you
don't
make
know.
any of his TikToks? He makes TikTok.
No,
Did you
I
make any
didn't.
videos?
I didn't make it in it. Did I
What?
make videos or did
Did you
you
make
saying?
in any of his?
Oh
Like, were you a
no,
featured member? What?
no, didn't make.
Oh my
I mean, I'm
God.
not cool
No eye
enough.
for content.
I
There's no eye. He
I'm
should have
not good enough.
he
I'm
should
not
have
big
done
time
serious.
enough.
Watch me wake up my Believe coworkers at 6 a.m. banging pots and pans. That should have been your bit.
All right, to get back to football, though, we're gonna share a quick recap at the end of my trip to Vegas. But I know everybody here is here for college football, so we're here to talk about college football. It was reported on this week by On3. Eric Prisbell wrote this really good article. I saw it, I read it, and then I saw Sam Herder, friend of the show, he had reshared it, talking about how the FCS subdivision and then this new entity that unless I'd love for our listeners to open my eyes to understanding what the hell is the
Someone,
Division One AAA. That
someone will.
apparently, that yeah. Oh, you haven't heard of the
They
Division One
governed over
AAA?
you while you were playing for 4 years, and you didn't know about that. What? I've never heard about this
Montana
organization.
has been has had a long-standing relationship. These Northeasterners, they don't know anything, and they shouldn't talk about FCS football. Yeah, shut the hell up. Look, this article though is really interesting because, and it's from the perspective of Ryan Ivey, who is Stephen F. Austin's athletic director, and the main talking point in this, and I implore everybody to go read this, is how they're currently trying to be proactive in navigating and preparing for the impending doom that we talked about on last show, which is the Big Ten and the SEC swallowing up other teams and turning into two super conferences, leaving this strange middle ground that, one, will be the G5, but more importantly, what will happen with the FCS. My main takeaway from this and what was talked about, and I'll let you read the quote that you loved that you said beforehand, was that their priority is creating a landscape for education to be the priority, which makes a lot of sense. It's going to be really similar probably to the Ivy League, and that's going to be kind of, I feel like, some of the main factors that they take from it on how this is going to play out. Because what they talked about here is revenue sharing sounds great, and it works well with all these big programs. The G5 makes a little bit of money. The FCS sure as shit does not. Will there be
No.
NIL money for these guys to make? I know of the Rhode Island football team getting a little bit of money thrown their way from NIL and whatnot. But I'm telling you right now, there is going to be no revenue sharing because there is no revenue to share.
Yeah, directly from Ivy. There's no revenue to share, my friend. When I'm sharing nothing, it's still nothing. And at the end of the year, do I get to send everyone a bill for the debt we have? It's different. We're not guys that played P5 and saw the inner workings of that massive machine. We saw inner workings of FCS football and all of pulling together hundreds of people just to keep one program afloat, to keep athletes coming to the school, trying to get fans in the stand, trying to keep football alive at colleges that present and open up opportunities for millions of athletes a year. So that should be their number one goal. Academic focus is great. That's fine. Let's keep on making athletes smarter. Let's keep on making anyone to go to college smarter. Pretty good plan. That math is going to add up for me. But sport preservation and athlete preservation is the number one factors for me throughout this entire, whatever they're developing. A lot of this, if you read the article, it just sounds like a lot of buzzwords you might hear from any press conference. It's very buzzwordy. Like, we're really making the strides to move forward in the most proactive way possible. Okay, that means you're going to work. That's what that means. And I appreciate you're going to work with a focus on it, but there needs to be the keep sports alive factor at as many schools as possible. It impacts too many lives individually and generally for that to go by the wayside. And I think the FCS does a good job with that. They're very good at keeping it alive. They need to keep that as the main focus. You can't keep up with the Joneses. They're not. You're in a different state than the Joneses. So, and I think they're being realistic about it also. One of the great quotes, we're not Texas A&M. We have different standards and we have different ways of operating, and they're taking themselves seriously, which I appreciate. It seems like whatever this group is, that they have a pulse and they're taking it seriously, which seeing some of the FBS stuff is refreshing.
You can come to Nacogdoches and try and get money out of us, but I don't know where it's coming from is a bar. It's a hell of a line. But he's just like, I don't have shit for. It's like when, your one buddy who's got a little bread, and then everybody's trying to get their businesses launched or whatnot, and they're like, "Hey man, I don't have any damn money. Don't come calling me. I don't have any money. I might look like I got money, but it's not for you to spend." No, in all seriousness, though, that to me is, I think, the fundamental aspect of this, where there's going to be a lot of FCS kids. And I don't know if you saw this video where the Tulsa coach was reading a text exchange either from an incoming recruit or transfer portal player that was like, "Coach, I'm looking for X amount of dollars. This is what I was getting," or something along those lines.
He was very open, transparent about how the conversation would go. And I think the athlete said the right thing. The Tulsa coach noted the athlete said, "Hey, I'm not out, playing the sport solely for money, but it is a factor." I'm paraphrasing, but he wasn't like, "How much am I going to get paid?" It was, "Hey, this is now a factor in the current landscape. It's irresponsible for me to not ask about it."
My biggest piece on this, and I don't think that there is a lot to truly dissect, and I'm probably going to move on soon to the Chip Kelly stuff, because like you said, this is all athletic director buzzwords. This is all buzzwords. This is a first step before the real step. This is let's do let's get an article out there. Let everybody start talking about it. See who is willing to contribute to the discussion and be a part of this, and who on the national landscape, maybe at the larger levels, will pay attention to this so that we can get this thing moving. But the biggest, I think, part of all this is that acknowledging that this all has a trickle-down effect on who gets killed the most. So the two biggest conferences are going to become the priority. The mid-level P5 teams probably going to get chopped off and moved down to G5. The G5 teams, the lower-level G5 teams, are going to probably trickle out, and we're probably going to see some that move back down to FCS. And then most of the quality FCS programs are going to be, for the most part, what we see from Division II and Division III. Because a lot of that talent that normally would slip through a lot of fingers of a lot of big teams that were forced to transfer down and then play and then move on back up or whatnot before the transfer portal rules, the NIL, all that stuff. Now that that's not on the table, these rosters are starting to get more and more bare. The money comes for the players that are supremely talented, that are good enough to get shots at the NFL or to be high-level NFL players. The FCS right now doesn't have a lot of that, and I would expect that that talent is going to dwindle even further. I think that the real killer in all this is probably going to be the Division II and Division III levels, where we're going to see more and more of those teams drop down to club level or completely dissolve their programs. And then I don't even know what happens with NAIA. I don't even know what is even on the radar for that.
I think FCS is kind of like, if you're playing FCS football, the market has spoken for you at that moment. Mm-hmm. Now, with that, you can go up or down. But when you're at a team at the FCS, that's what the market is saying. It's a really good barometer for that. And there's going to be G5 guys that end up playing FCS that are too good, move back up. There's going to be guys that transfer to the FCS, have to move down. We've seen it all over the place. It's a great meter for playing competitive, like really competitive football. Anything below isn't as competitive. Anything above, all right, that's where the talent, size, strength kicks in. But for really competitive football, FCS is strong for it. So I think they stay alive. I think you just need to preserve. They need to continue to be as flexible as possible. That's one of the things that they've been strong with. And everything that's been thrown at them. Maybe it's just because there's not as much reporting on it. And I know teams struggled with NIL, transfer portal, whatever it is. But I'm not seeing FCS coaches crying poverty or making it seem like the world is ending. They're just saying, hey, this is what the landscape is. We're going to bounce back, rally, figure it out. You cannot start. This is not the time to start getting stubborn as the FCS if you want to stay alive. You need to continue to bob and weave. And then again, naturally, the market is going to figure you out. You are going to end up with the talent best for your conference, best for your subdivision. They're just going to continue to be the market.
Now, the other massive wave hitting move that happened this weekend was Chip Kelly, the UCLA head coach, who was rumored to be heading to Seattle to be their next offensive coordinator. He ends up, after Bill O'Brien moves on to Boston College, taking the Ohio State offensive coordinator gig. Now, I don't want to, because I think that you and I have spent a lot of time talking overarching this offseason so far, and I kind of want to stick with that theme. This is obviously great for Ohio State. He is a brilliant offensive coordinator. But I would like to just dive in a little bit here, Sean, on the fact that we have seen something unprecedented happen. A head coach in the same conference is leaving their team to take over as a coordinator. We saw Jeff Hafley. We saw him do that. Leave Boston College, take an NFL coordinator gig. Yeah. Some people called him crazy. Most understood this is a better job. But to move across the conference to jump down to a coordinator level for a lot of extenuating circumstances, I think is an indicator that in the future of college football, in the coming years, we're going to see more of this. A lot more of these lower level P5 programs to mid-level P5 programs losing their head coaches because teams that are trying to go on championship runs are offering big dollars in order for them to come and be their offensive or defensive coordinators. We are going to start to see more and more of this.
I think you're right. I'm not excited about it, and I don't think Chip Kelly is – I actually don't think that Chip Kelly is the big hire that shifts this entire head coaches becoming coordinators in conference. I don't think he's the big move that makes it happen. We saw Entz from North Dakota State, USC, kind of lost our minds about it, and we're like, you were a head coach and when always in it. Now I get that ladder. This isn't that. Chip Kelly never felt like the man to me. It never felt like he wanted to be the man. When he was coaching in the NFL with Philly, it always felt like coordinator playing head coach. UCLA, same thing. Could he build a program, recruit his ass off? Sure. I think he's a great coach. I think he's fine, but I don't think he's the man, the big leader. Give me the plan. I want to move all the chess pieces myself. I think he likes calling offenses. And great. Ohio State, you got a guy who's passionate about it, who has experience and knows how to use talent. Nobody's going to say LaShawn McCoy was underused with Chip Kelly in his prime. No,
he also got rid of him.
Yeah, he did get rid of him, I think, but LaShawn McCoy was a bit out of his prime. Chip Kelly might have seen he might have foreshadowed how running backs are going to get treated a bit early. But it's a fine ad for Ohio State. This isn't my Armageddon situation or scenario. My Armageddon situation would be like who's dummy at Iowa State? Matt Campbell. If he, real leader in the Big Ten, if he were to have signed on, or Big 12, signed on and started really moving, somebody of that, and he's a different type of guy because he's a true football coach, leader in it, wants the chess pieces. If those guys start moving in that brand of coach, then we start looking around like, wow, these two leagues are going to start sucking up everybody. They will.
That I agree with, because you bring up a really good point here. I mean, I kind of breezed past the extenuating circumstances. UCLA has been pretty badly devoid of funding over the past few years, and some people kind of try to argue with that. And I was just on my show with Blake where he was arguing with me and saying, well, where the hell did they get the money to pay Dante Moore? That was one kid. If you look at their basketball program, which is historically, that was the Alabama of basketball for a very long time, is dog shit. It's bad right now. So there has not been a commitment, and the coach has been vocal about this, to feeding either of those athletic programs to be as good as they potentially could be where they sit in Los Angeles. So that kind of factors into this. Chip getting complacent in recruiting and not wanting to recruit, all that stuff comes into play into this. So he was looking to jump ship no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder, I mean, if Bill O'Brien, if he's hired, or not hired, I don't think that Chip Kelly, any of this even happens. I think that they probably would have gone in a different direction and we wouldn't have even considered any of this. I mean, I'd even take it a step further that like somebody not like Matt Campbell, who has been a little cooled down lately, but somebody in one of these Power 5 conferences that's not on the way out, that's trying to reset their clock, if they jumped and took a coordinator job, then I agree would be the real panic button. But I think that this is a first domino. I think that other coaches and agents are going to say to their guys and be like, hey, look what we just did for Chip, and everybody's all high on him and happy about him.
But Chip's kind of a punk, though. I don't think I think these coaches, you got to remember, these coaches are so proud. They want to be, a lot of these dudes, they want to be that, they want to upset other coaches. They want to build their own thing. Eventually that bug hits everyone where you want to win a championship. But I don't think we're ever going to see a time where there won't be hungry, motivated young coaches that want to just build something up and build themselves up. I actually think the coaching pool, even as we continue to move to lame ass analytics and everyone continues to use it, I still think the coaching pool is strong and that there will be plenty of good candidates because how many, I was shocked, Joe, at Rhode Island, right? How many guys that we played with that went into coaching? I was genuinely shocked. I'm sitting here like, we had over a dozen guys going to coaching on one team.
Did we?
Oh yeah, all over the place. Sticking at Rhode Island, Nas with Rutgers.
Yanni,
Everybody's all
Dwayne, Emil,
Book.
Oh yeah, Book's coaching high school.
Yeah, high school too. Coaches everywhere. And this is one school. You can't imagine how many former players are going into coaching. That won't get watered down. Guys want to stay around the sport. That's good. Chip Kelly's a punk. I don't think that crushes them, though. I think there's going to be a lot of there's kind of excited to see it. This is the one thing I'm excited to see. I want to see how coaches get their teams outside of the big conference going, the big two conferences. When the Big Ten and the SEC come together and we see the 40 teams or whatever. All right, cool. That's going to take up a ton of attention. I'm terribly interested in watching who the next guys are going to be from the outside, who performs well. It's like when you learn about a really good MAC coach, like Jason Candle this year was a really hot name. And you're like, yeah, holy hell, he could be coaching somewhere else, improving them. I think that we're going to continue to have that.
Well, Candle, and this is where the world before this was always made a lot of sense, where a lot of these high-level G5 coaches, head coaches, inevitably would get brought up as coordinators for these bigger program jobs. Like we just saw South Alabama's guy left to go to Alabama. Candle has been brought up often for a lot of these offensive coordinator openings. Same thing with Joe Moorhead. That's where I'm trying to get at here is that we've already expanded into the next wave where it's not just the best G5 coaches. It is coaches, doesn't even have to be the best low-level P5 coaches, just coaches at the low-level P5 spot being willing to take coordinator jobs. I am more curious to see who could be that next one to do it, because I think a lot of these top programs, now that money is able to more freely flow, that they're going to stupidly and irrationally spend it.
Here's something just to draw it back real quick to Chip Kelly, Ohio State. Do you think they wanted a guy with experience as a head coach to kind of get into that system in case
I think he just wanted the best guy.
A good year? You don't think that Chip Kelly's ever Ohio State head coaching contingency plan?
No, I actually.
Come on, you got to kind of root for it.
I actually
got to root for the circus to come to town. I'm sorry, I'm pulling for it.
I'll go as far as to say
scenario that I'm rooting for.
You're a jackass. I'll go as far as to say I don't think that Chip Kelly is realistically going to be offered a good head coaching gig in a while. I really don't. I think that
he could cool off for a little bit.
I just think his trajectory has just gone so downhill since the Oregon job that he has gone from Oregon to getting fired in Philadelphia to fired in San Francisco to almost fired at UCLA, to the point where he just jumps ship and leaves on his own.
San Fran?
Yeah, he was horrible in San Francisco.
Was he the head coach?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What year? Who did they have at quarterback?
Oh my God. Wait.
Because it was Harbaugh had
That was
Smith
20.
and
He was there for
Kaepernick.
1 year in 2016. And let's look up 2016 49ers.
Is Vernon Davis still on that team? I think so.
Thad Lewis. Wait, no. He was signed. He drafted DeForest Buckner.
That's a good pick.
Why doesn't it show me any stats or anything? What the? All right, wait. Here's Football Reference. This is
Okay.
great. This is great radio. Passing. Where's the passing stats? I can tell you the punting stats. It was Kaepernick and Gabbert. Kaepernick and
okay.
Gabbert.
Gotcha.
That was like the last years of the both of them. Like getting
I didn't know
shots.
he was that. And he was the head coach. He wasn't the coordinator.
He was the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers.
You're not like long conning me.
No,
here,
they were
I
2
genuinely
14.
This one I can't. Oh, that team was bad.
They hired. It was. You know what it was comparable to? It was just like the Frank Reich hire with the Colts,
For Carolina,
or not with the Colts. With Carolina, where
okay, gotcha.
things didn't end well, but you're kind of like,
okay,
this could still work because he did some good stuff, and then
I forgot about that.
he
team.
comes in and nobody respects him, and they just suck, and then everyone's like, okay. And I forget if Jim Tom Sula was after him or if
I think NFL teams need to really bottom out to get the reset. You can't just go through a half-assed reset where you still have some talent. Like Carolina bottomed out this year. That 2016 Niners team, they had to really bottom out with Chip Kelly to see how bad it could get, to learn what you needed to fix. Sometimes you need to get to rock bottom to figure it all out for football programs.
I miss when the 49ers were bad. It was a much simpler time.
God, I have no interest in the 49ers winning the Super Bowl or the Chiefs. None. I got zero juice for this game. I'm taking the under because I'm pissed.
Can I bet both teams lose? Is there a way to take that bet? Is there a way to bet that Taylor Swift's jet doesn't make it to Vegas?
Well, she stole their jet because of the fallout. Well, you're talking a lot about betting. How'd Vegas go for you?
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about this. So to anyone wondering,
that's the yes, I transitioned to it for you.
Let's
talk about it now.
To anyone wondering, I lost. I lost $300 playing blackjack, which was not good. I mean, the first day I did fine. I was up some bread, and then I lost it all the second day, and I was like, all right, we got to pull out more money. We're gonna get this thing right, and then we lost all of it again. It was not a good.
I don't think I'd be lose my money for 2 hours at a table type of guy. I can't do that. Mm-hmm. But it would be, my frequency would be high. I think like before or after going to dinner, I'd be like, let me just pop in for a quick hand, see how it goes.
We were doing it mostly after.
I would just periodically go throughout my day and place bets until I caught fire. Like that's how, and at the end, I'd probably lose $300 like you did. But that would be my strategy. Just take some time, find the right. Just wait. I got to be more patient at Vegas. I've still never been.
It's overrated.
It can't be.
I think it's really overrated. I think it's really disorienting being in the same damn building and not going outside for 3 days. That was really goddamn disorienting. That was really weird.
Well, I think Radio Row is a different animal, though, right? You're just in. It's just so much mixing around, so much movement.
Yeah, I mean, well. The convention
you
center,
can't say Vegas is overrated. It's got to kick ass.
It was fun, and I was there for work, but like I didn't really get the chance to really experience it. I also get really anxious when I lose money, so like that to me is not fun.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, we went out to the MGM. For new listeners, Joe came and visited, and in Maryland, close to me, there's an MGM, and Joe came down and said we were kind of all pretty still fired up about going into the casino, 21, 22, and Joe comes down. I don't think he placed a bet all night.
I didn't have any money. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any money. Shut up.
I wasn't in California yet.
Shut up. I had no money to bet. By the way, what killed my juice? You were trying to tell me I should have played roulette. I was up,
You got to get
and
that
then
ball
the
going.
second day, before I played blackjack, I was like, I'm gonna throw $50 on black, and some guy completely ruined my juice. I put $50 on black. Guy at the table puts his stuff on red and goes, "You're going against me."
What
He
an
says that to me,
asshole.
and I'm like,
What an asshole. I've seen that before.
okay.
I've seen that you see me put 75 on red, right? You see me, you watch me do that. You're standing at the table. You can pick it whenever. I see the screen. I see it's been black 6 straight times. I'm like, I'm going to just put it on red. Why not? And then someone else just puts it right on black. It's going to be black again. It's not. It was red, but why is this now a challenge? A kind of 1v1 on
just
roulette?
shut the hell up.
Playing
Shut the hell up. I'm just trying to play a little roulette. Just shut up. Like, I'm not betting against you, you dickweed. Like, shut up.
Poker, I get. Poker, I get.
The
Craps,
people's
I get.
the problem, I think, is my vibe with
Roulette
Vegas and
is
shit.
just vibes. It's just for people like me that like to see that
Yeah.
ball skip and bounce. It's electric. It's a feeling you can't replicate with any other game in the casino. Maybe the first flip of your blackjack card. Maybe. But roulette, the team needs to be together. Play your numbers. I don't care. I like getting on other people's numbers. Everyone gets hot together. It's a good time. But when you start fading each other on the outside, that's bullshit. That's that's just like you're being argumentative to be argumentative almost.
We put it's not like he immediately did it to fade me. Like the bets were placed like at the same time. Like it was like right when everyone was like putting stuff down where I didn't even see he was doing it. And I don't think he saw that I was doing it. So after the bets were placed is when he pointed out, "You're fading me," is what this guy looked at me and said. And I'm like, okay, man, I'm sorry. Like, and then he won the bet.
But you had your chips down first?
I don't know who had them down first. I think they were placed like right at the same time, which is regardless. You don't say anything.
That's the only but you never say. What kind of karma is that? Why are you even saying that at the table? Some people don't know any decorum for playing the outside of roulette. If you see somebody making a big play, let them and then get in on the play after.
But it wasn't even that. It's not like he timed it. He might have put his down before me. My point is that no matter what, whose bets are on the table. I mean, if my bet is on red 34 and somebody else has a bet on black 9, I don't know if these numbers even correlate. Like we're obviously going against each other.
That's fine.
Just don't say anything. Okay, wait, we're laboring on.
I'm with you. But for some reason, that was a triggering topic for me.
It was for me. It ruined my juice the whole rest of the day. Like it completely ruined the vibe. I was like, oh, and then we sat down at a blackjack table, 4 of us, and there was a 5th guy there, and the guy got pissed that we sat down to play at his table like we're not in Las Vegas. Yeah, that was a weird. Again, I didn't like the people. The whole thing was like the people that were in Vegas were not friendly, were not easy to interact with. The people that were working there were awesome.
If I was sitting there and some guy got pissed at, I would have got up and said, "I hope you win a lot of money tonight. I hope you win every hand, fucko. Good luck." It's a rigged game. Why not get more cards on the table so you can see them?
3 anecdotes though from like the Radio Row experience. One, I texted you this. This is more of a just like this was really random, not even like, oh my God, I saw this guy kind of a thing. I had my head down and was trying to coordinate a recording of something for something that had a quick deadline, not paying attention. And as I'm walking, I accidentally infiltrated a large, for anyone who's never been to Radio Row, who's never seen it, usually when there's bigger names, they've got like their PR team, they've got like all these people with them that are following them around. I accidentally infiltrated one of those groups while I was walking because it was just the flow of traffic while I was walking. And without even realizing it, I realized I was walking not like on the outside, in the middle of Stephen A. Smith's group, his professional management group.
8 guys that look just like you walking right around him. Yeah, and so it's a star surrounded by 8 Joes or 4 Seans, and then you're like, all right, cool, what's going on here? That's awesome. You didn't say anything, did you?
No, I looked up because somebody was on the phone a few feet behind me and goes, "That was just Stephen A. Smith who walked past me." And I literally looked up and I go, "Where?" And I look up and he's right in front of me. And I'm like, "Oh, shit." And he just kept walking and I stopped and I was like a little dumbfounded. Watching him, Cam Newton's set was right next to ours.
Yeah.
And he he had way more than you're allowed to have, to the point where it encroached on the table next to them, and those people got pissed at his people.
Oh, just like actual set
Yeah,
room?
go look on his Twitter. He's got
I saw the 4th and 1 set was huge.
Yeah, it was not. You're not
4th and 1.
Yeah, you're not supposed to have that much shit. But when Stephen A was on, huge crowd around it. When Burt Kreischer and Tom Segura were on, huge crowd around it.
Yeah.
Shannon Sharp, same thing. That was cool to see. The second random anecdote. I had, in like the hustle and rush of trying to do something, somebody left a coffee cup near a wire. Big production no. This was made by somebody who doesn't work in production. Spilled the cup of coffee because we're yanking and moving wires. Doesn't really get on anything, but gets on the carpet, gets on some of the wires. I'm like, oh shit, I need to go get some paper towels. There is there's always like a couple of brands that are sponsoring a gigantic location that is visible throughout the entire radio row because they're marketing. They're one of the title sponsors. So this year was Bounty. So I'm like, I'm going to go over to the Bounty thing. They have paper towels. I'm going to go get some paper towels. Run over there. They had all these rolls on
Just
these individual
display
things.
roll?
They were handing out chicken wings. So like their whole bit was like they were giving out chicken wings and then they were giving you the paper towels as
Look
like
how
a way
clean
to,
you are after.
Right.
Yeah. That's not a bad.
So
bit.
I grab a whole roll. And one of their people, and I said to somebody, like, I spilled something. Can I please, like, where are the paper towels? And like, I'm sorry. Can I please have some? I'm like, yes. One of the people yells at me because I took the whole roll. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, you're the paper towel company. And you're yelling at me for needing this for something that could not be any more pressing to prove
You're the better
quality
picker
of
upper. That's what you're saying. What you want to give me one ply so I can see if it gets it all up?
No, they were just mad I was taking their shit. I'm like, you're the paper towel company.
You're the paper. You can't be the popcorn company and be upset when people are like, "Hey, popcorn smells good. Let me go get some." What are you talking about? Your paper towels. If something spills, that's kind of your role in the world and society. Maybe it's you're like, God, people always do this. Like being a celebrity, you want to hide yourself because you don't want pictures because everyone wants pictures. But if you're a paper towel company and someone needs a paper towel, it's kind of your societal duty to give them a paper towel. What else are you here for?
That's what I'm getting at. I was just like, the irony. You should be excited about this opportunity.
Are you kidding? Yeah,
as
you
a
might get a
marketer,
Bounty guy right here. You're looking at a real life possible future lifer for Bounty. The quicker oh, that's Swiffer. What am I talking about? What is Bounty?
No, I think it's the quicker picker upper. I don't know. I mean, I could give two shits. I'm down on Bounty after that. I'm only buying
Bounty stinks. You know what? I'm out on Bounty. Never
only buying Brawny going forward.
Yeah, bro.
All right, that's a good note to wrap.
You don't want to talk about our new business venture?
What's our business venture?
Real Shitters TM.
Oh, the idea that I had this ended up being a way longer show than I anticipated. I had pitched to Sean, and I had to go to I go to the bathroom near the media workroom, and I texted you multiple times. I texted you. One was early in the morning, post coffee shit, and I'm like, we're about to find out who the real shitters are here at Radio Row. Like of the media people, of the production people, we're about to find out. First day was not a good one for me in terms of actually it was a good one in terms of the environment to establish, some dominance.
Oh, you had a good output on day one. You were firing awesome.
There was nobody there to counter me. But the second day, I texted you. I'm like, oh, these guys showed up to play today. I showed up to sit down, and it was loud. There were noises and smells on a new level. These guys came to play. It was the Super Bowl happened on Thursday in the media workroom. And so the idea that I had to Sean was we should make an app where you should be able to check in, like when there's like a big convention or like a sporting event or something, that you're like, hey, I'm shitting in stall 1 because like how am I can't go, hey, who's in these bathrooms? I would have loved to have known.
You didn't do any shoe watching?
No.
Oh, I'm a huge shoe watcher. I gotta know. I look at the shoes, and then the next 15 minutes, I walk around looking at the shoes.
I can tell you right now, it wasn't a lot of talent that was down there, but it would have been hilarious if like Booger McFarland's down there, and he's just lighting that shit up. And if I can pull out my phone and be like, "Oh shit, Booger, that was a good one."
Oh, you can rate the performance. Sure.
Yeah,
I like that. You can. There's an app that I'm familiar with called VouchVault that Jay Chandrasekhar built, and you could. It's just basically someone your opinion. You can give an opinion on. You can vouch for something that you like. I think some way there has to be an opinion setting on Real Shitters TM. Like I can verify this. He blew it up, but you might have been naive thinking that day 2 in Vegas wasn't going to be a true hellstorm in the bathrooms.
Well, it was day 4 technically because it was Thursday.
That's wrong.
Yeah. No, I mean there was a lot going on in that bathroom, but I think that was mostly like it should be a networking opportunity, you know? Like it really the real public shitters they're proud of what's happening in there.
We share
LinkedIn for poopers. That's what I think it needs to be. I don't think it needs to be it doesn't need to be like Twitter or like Instagram. It is the LinkedIn of shitters. We'll have the guys who write out those long essays. Like I learned I was out of toilet paper and somebody shared their role with me, and this is what I learned.
Have you completely flipped up your stance? Because you and I are both, when we were at Rhode Island, very private, looking for the one-seater, looking for the nobody in it. Have you completely flipped up and you're like, hey, I'm going to let it rip in here, and it's going to be everyone else's problem?
This is why... Well, I was never looking for privacy for that, since I was looking for privacy so that I could like sit on my phone and like watch videos and stuff and like not really, have a little more of like a mental reset.
You're a part of the problem. So you are a part of the public that it will go out and no remorse light it up.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point. That's the whole point of what we're talking about here. But what I'm saying here. What was I saying here? I don't even know where we've gone so far off the whole point is this to be for events, for people that are traveling. Like I'm not going to avoid the comfort of my own home, but if I'm traveling, yeah, of course I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity.
So this can't be a for-profit app. It can't, this just has to be human experiment app.
I mean, we got to find a way to make it profitable.
VIP status wouldn't get you anything in a public bathroom.
That's a good point.
Unless
maybe it should be like Twitch, where you can give like tips to. Like it's something like a super chat, like on.
Now we're
YouTube.
Tipping the people that we're in the bathrooms with in public.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, so here's what I think your homework assignment should be for the show, the next one.
You're going to have the combine. This is going to be the combine in 2 weeks.
Oh, there's going to be some
real shitters at the combine.
Track the real shitters at the combine, and then we'll try to build something off of that. We'll see if we can find a direction for it. Because I love the premise. I don't see anybody else trying to do this or even considering it. So we could strike gold, but we need to find the proper direction.
I tried to pitch it to my finance buddy. Could not have been shut down any faster than I was. And if mind you, this man's unemployed. So like you think he'd be looking for an opportunity that's got some legs to it. I guess he's not in for it.
And if I see some new app out called Dumps with a Z or something like that, where it's find the best public bathrooms near you, wherever you can find it in the city.
That's not the point.
That's not what it's for. That's not what it's for.
It's not the point.
It's letterboxed for
yes,
people.
It's letterboxed.
Blowing it up.
Yes, that's what it is.
That's what it's got to be.
I'm gonna go to the combine. I'm gonna print out like laminated postcards or like flyers, and I'm just gonna. Would you use this? Can you take a look at this?
Hey, at some point while you're here in Indy, you're gonna need to use the restroom. That's none of my business.
No. I'm not doing it to people forward facing. I'm gonna be in the bathroom, and I'm gonna, slide down.
What do you slide? You're sliding under the stall?
I'm not sliding under the stall. I'm implying that I'm going to slide
You're
these
saying you're
flyers.
sliding down.
The flyers. The
So
flyers
you're catching someone
underneath.
literally with their pants down and
Yeah.
giving them a business card.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. So we're kind of going in a guerrilla warfare style of marketing.
Well,
like it.
I can't go to if you're not a real shitter, you're not going to get this. I can't go into a bar and start handing these things out to normal people. They're going to be like, "What the fuck was wrong with that?"
Yeah,
guy?
because people
No.
are vulnerable when they're using the bathroom.
No, but
You're
real.
gonna get some mixed reviews on your.
Yes, there's going to be
It's
some people
literally
who
the
rub
most
the wrong way.
vulnerable a person could be.
There's going to be some people rub the wrong way, but the real target audience are the real shitters. They're the ones who are there to put on a performance, and those people are the ones.
Okay.
Hand out the card too. Hey man, I really liked your.
All right.
Hey man, I really liked your stuff. I caught you a couple stalls down.
I see your vision.
You've got some real talent for this game.
I see your vision now. This is for you said it and you nailed it. This is for the performers. All right.
What were you gonna say? That I'm closing this show out.
Well, we just have to have a good tagline on the business card. It has to be something like, "Hey, get after it," or there has to be something that says,
"Where the real shitters come to party."
Real shitters stand up.
No, real shitters sit down. What do you?
Close it. We're not going to get anything better.